Are you annoyed by this idea of bishop b5, the Spanish opening, and you don't know what to do because this is actually a very solid, very positional, strategical opening for white, and you do have nothing to do? I got you with this video. I am going to recommend this f5 idea, and this is actually a very good video for you. Why? Because I am kind of digging deep too, focusing on d3, the most played move, then bishop takes c6, and then e takes f5, and then we focused about knight c3 and d4, the 5 most played move. And actually this system is very good practically. Why? Because in this period of the game, it's very tough for white to play and very easy kind of for black to play first. Second, it's not one of the main lines because the Spanish player will be busy studying Berlin, busy studying other stuff like a6, bishop a4, bishop c5, or bishop e7 with b5, without b5, with knight e7 or knight f6. Too many stuff. So most likely he will not or she will not pay more attention to such an idea of f5 that probably not played, or the last time played for against him or her maybe months ago or years ago, I'm not sure. So we go f5 and let's dig deep to it. Before we do that, let me remind you to subscribe to the channel first. Second, to check out the link of this study. I will pin in the comment a link for the study so you can repeat and review everything either after this video or maybe later on before your tournament game or before you go playing online or after you get your game, by the way. After f5, black has 5 moves, as I said. There is d3 and there is bishop takes c6 and there is e takes f5, knight c3 and d4. Let's get started with the e takes e5 one. After e takes f5, like taking the pawn, thinking that the pawn can be taken and the best way to refute a gambit to accept it. Good luck doing that. e4. Attacking right away. This is what I like about this. I mean, you don't give white the option of leading the game. No, you are leading the game. Now the knight is attacked. What can white do? 2 options. Either to take the knight or to pin the pawn. If pinning the pawn played like queen e2, we simply play queen e7. Easy move, yeah? Now attacking the knight, and now white has only move not to lose the game. Only move not to lose the game. Bishop takes c6. Not easy to be found, by the way. Many players played knight g1 or d3 or whatever. They lost the game right away. So bishop takes c6, and most likely, we take this way. B takes c6. We take towards the center, preparing d5 ideas. Still the knight is attacked, and after knight d4, we simply improve the knight, castling, and now we need to finish our development. How's that? We need to improve the bishop and castling, so we need to move the queen away. Where? Remember this. Always about queens and pieces, centralization. Very important. Queen e5. And that's actually came with the e4 pawn. Whenever you have a pawn on e4, it's kind of a pattern in chess. Then e5 is a good square for the queen. Queen e5, attacking the knight, open diagonal for the bishop, d5 is coming, you improve the bishop, you castle, you are doing simply great. So let's go back. So again, as we said, f e takes f5, we are leading the game and we go e4, we checked queen e2, so about bishop takes c6 now. Now in this moment, we go b takes c6 again. Not d takes c6, it's b takes c6. And after knight e5, we simply go very nice move, queen g5. Attacking on g2, attacking on e5, preparing afterwards, knight f6, improving the bishop, castling d5, improve the bishop, and probably the rook will join the game via e8 line. Yeah, easy peasy, yeah? You don't need to know that much. Why? Guys, this is super important. And many students and many players are not paying attention to details. And you are playing a human, which means you are fighting the level of his or her knowledge, yeah? You're not fighting the ideal knowledge here. No. You're not playing against the best moves. If your knowledge is better than your opponent, and most likely it is going to be, then that's enough. So let's go back, and that's actually all for e takes f5. So how about second move? Knight c3. Okay, we go f5, and then knight c3 supporting the pawn, but we simply take. Weakening the center and preparing the idea of d5. Maybe see d5 here, it's played. Actually, it's one of the main moves, but I don't want to recommend it. Why? Because it requires too many study, and that is not what I'm seeking here. I seek kind of practicality. Yeah? I don't want you to stick studying chess. I want you to play chess. But play chess based on something, yeah? Not based on nothing. So after knight takes e4, we speed up our development and going for knight f6. Attacking the knight. And here, 3 moves. Either protecting the knight or take on f6. If taking on f6, then I will take back with the queen. Queen takes f6. You castle in this position, and I simply go bishop e7. After that, I will castle. I'll go d6, bishop g4, bring the king, the other rook to the game. King h8 to avoid any checks along this diagonal, and black has no problem. It's not about actually black has no problem. White has problems that he needs to be aware of, otherwise he's losing the game. And it's very, very, very tough to find the solution now. So, knight f6 is not an idea. Then what can white do? How about d3? Defending the pawn. Now I go d5. And after knight takes f6, I simply go queen takes f6. You go bishop g5 attacking my queen, so what? Queen f5. And again, same idea, like bishop d6, followed by castling short, probably bishop d7, bring the other rook to the game, and maybe e4, maybe knight d4. You have too many ideas. You have the f file, you have the e file. On the contrary, what does white have? Probably nothing. He has to be super accurate, and it's not easy, huh? Not easy. I don't recommend this for white actually at all. So let's go back. Lastly, about knight c3, about queen e2. Again, we go d5. You take on f6, but this time, and only this time, we take this way. G takes f6. White went crazy and went very aggressive, like d4. If you go e4, maybe ideas like knight h4, somewhere queen h5. No, I'm not interested with this. So what to play? Bishop g7. Speed up the development. In the opening, you need to develop as fast as possible. But now I'm losing a pawn. Yeah, if I calculate correctly, like d e5, f e5, knight e5, and this knight is pinned. Yes, but we are not losing a pawn. We are sacrificing a pawn. So after d takes e5, we simply castle. And after you take, again, queen takes f6. And as we said before, it's not something new. I feel like I knew this position. I see this position before. Bishop g4, rook a8, king h8, etc. Very easy game of chess. While if white not as super accurate, he is probably losing the game. Oi, 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 that's super nice. So this is actually for second move, knight c3. So we checked e takes f5 so far. We checked knight c3 so far. And now let's check d4. After f5, d4. Like opening up the center. After d4, we simply take f takes e4. And now 2 moves. Either bishop takes c6 or knight takes e5. If bishop takes c6 in this position, again, how to take this way or that way? Exactly, b takes c6. Most likely, maybe always, almost always, b takes c6. You take on e5, and now very interesting move, queen h4. Improving the queen and over protecting this pawn, because most likely it's going to be attacked either with knight d2 or rook e1 later on, or queen e2, etc. So you castle, I improve the knight, knight f6. You go knight c3 attacking, and now very interesting move, bishop b4. The point of bishop b4 is, I would like to take and then fight on the light squares. Attacking the rook, and after rook e1, again I feel I have seen this movie before. I will castle short, bring the other rook to the game, using the f-file to attack, with the rook, with the queen, probably the knight is coming. Very nice position, and very easy to play position, yeah? Here I see this idea of d6 first, kicking the knight away, and then knight g4, attacking here and here and here and here and everywhere. Yeah, that's too bad. So that's actually for bishop takes c6. How about knight takes e5 then? About knight takes e5, I will take on e5, you take back, and now very nice smart move, c6. The point of c6 is, whenever you move the bishop wherever, I will go queen a5 check, and then collect the pawn, and then d5, and then knight f6, bishop here, castling, improve the bishop, rook a e8. Again, see, same pattern, again and again and again and again. So that's what I like about this gambit actually. Very, very practical one. So that's actually all for 4d4. That's interesting, 4d4, yeah? It's rhyming. So we checked knight c3, we checked e takes f5, we checked d4. And now let's check bishop takes c6. Actually, this is the exception for the rule. Only now and now only we take d takes c6, not b takes c6. Why is that? So whenever knight takes e5 played, now we do have the option of queen d4. Is that a draw? It's most likely, but black is on the better side of the draw. Especially here 90k, 90, 0, 0, 0, 100 times this move is played. And it seems winning for white, right? Because whenever you go g6, there is knight takes g6. It's very well known theme, yeah, in tactics of chess. But actually, no, it's very interesting. Because now after g6, knight takes g6, h takes g6, guess what? The rook all of a sudden is protected. Whoa. And white will discover that. Though in almost 10k times, the rook is taken, probably pre-moved, yeah? But queen takes g6 is the best move, but now simply I can go king d8. And after d3, I go knight e7, and I am a piece up with no compensation. Actually, the king is safe. I will go bishop e6, king d7, bring the rook, and then artificial castling, yeah? King c8 back, and black is doing more than great. And this rook actually is activated. So that's for queen h5 check. But knight f3 is the best move, and now I take, and then queen e2, and the queens will be exchanged, right? But then I do have this idea of bishop d7. First of all, I do have the bishop pair. Second of all, white's plan or white's life is not that easy. He cannot castle now, and for example, if queen takes queen, f takes queen, knight g5 attacking, and now see bishop f5. You can't go d3, you can't go f3, I will take the c2 pawn will be dropped, and black is doing actually great. So this is all for bishop takes c6 for move. And now for the most played move, 700,000 times d3. Said, okay, I'll play it safe. I'll go d3 and I'm doing fine. And here, instead of f takes e4, the most played move, and knight f6, I am going, or knight f6, which is again the second most played move, I am going to recommend you playing d6. Opening the diagonal for the bishop and playing this easy plan. After castling, you go knight f6, and now this pawn, you're attacking actually. After e takes f5, thanks, you're speeding up our development, so thanks for that. And after knight c3, we simply play bishop e7. What's our idea? We have two ideas here. Either you go for castling king h8, f takes e4, bishop g4, bring the queen, and then rook a to e8, as we have seen before. Or another one is, for example, say bishop c4, stopping that. I simply have this plan. Either I go f takes or f4, say f takes e4, d takes e4, and then we go bishop g4. Followed by queen d7, long castling, bring the rook to the game, and attack along the f file. With knight d4, without knight d4, with bishop takes, without, with knight h5, knight f4, without, you do have too many potential on the king side. While white does not have that much on the queen side. So one line just to give you more ideas, if bishop g5, I will castle. And after rook e1, now f e4 in order to open the diagonal for the bishop. And after d takes e5. Now bishop g4 actually is great, but I want to show you another idea, which is this king h8. And bishop g4 is coming. Let's say white prevents that, like either now or before. Now I wanted to give you this idea, which is queen e8. Very interesting idea. And now after queen e8, my point is to bring the queen to the king side, either queen h5 or queen g6. Threats like bishop takes h3 will be there. Ideas like knight d4, because if you take this, bishop will be attacking or attacked. The rook will be coming to the game, either with rook f7, rook a to f8, or rook a to e8 right away. So black is doing actually great and has a better chances out of the opening. Maybe if white can play the best engine moves, he might be at the end of the day very, very slightly better. Not in this position, by the way. This position, even for the engine, is slightly better for black. But normally against f5, if white played super accurate, might be slightly better, which is fine, the same as other stuff. But again, as I said earlier, it's super practical opening because the chance of your opponent prepare this is very low in comparison to other stuff like whatever, like for example, knight f6 Berlin. If I recommend you Berlin, then this is, I don't want to say it's a stupid recommendation, but your opponent will be preparing that. And it will be a fight of theory. No, I don't want to fight of theory. I'll go f5 and simply will improve the knight, improve the bishop, d6, bishop g4, castling, improve the queen, whatever. Maybe sometimes queen f6, queen g5, queen h4, depends. Queen e8, queen g6 maybe. And the other rook will come to the game. And black has actually a very great, practical, safe, aggressive against your opponent game, yeah? Your moves are completely easy. I hope you find this useful. By the way, if you reached the video this far, so most likely you will be interested in bishop c4 f5, which we covered in this video. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Have a nice one.